Lana Quest. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
Brian Rundle, Lana Quest, Black and White. You are here. I keep forgetting to do this because I go back and I watch the replays and everything. And you've done it, but I never tell people to like and subscribe.
Oh,
So I
I
really
appreciate
appreciate it if people would like and subscribe to the show.
Yeah.
And I think we had this, we're in an argument, probably our biggest argument, but
Us? Weird. Okay.
yeah,
Was
when I
it?
first said I heard that you're supposed to
Oh,
say like and subscribe more toward, and you're like, what are you talking about, dude? Just say it. Go.
yeah, because you'll forget, like, if you don't say it, or in the
Correct.
middle or whatever, but
Actually, you know what? That's going to remind me because I have a little like and subscribe banner here. So let's put that up there.
that
So it'll remind the people watching.
exactly, that's what I do.
I mean, you got enough Twitter followers. I had your Twitter thing up there, but
Yeah, it's A-okay.
okay. All right. Lana Quest, how was your weekend?
So I need to vent about something, but it's not about the weekend.
Let's
I
do it.
could vent about like these long track meets, but I won't.
Are you talking about
One
with your kids?
Thursday. Track is so long. She had a
Yeah.
twilight one, and that was like all of the state
Okay.
trying to qualify.
Is it your daughter?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she went from 3 o'clock. I didn't go to that one. I had to work, but she texted me at 10:30 and said we're on the way back to the school. I mean, not 3:30, 10:30. Is that what? 10:30. So you're talking about three after school until 3:30, 10:30 at night is when it was
So
over.
she's not running just the 100 meters and she's out of there.
She have to wait, right? So they space them out so the relays could be at the end. But that's not what I want to. Let me vent real quick because
Please take your time.
you're gonna understand this, and maybe you can help me understand it more.
I will do my
So,
best.
okay, I co-founded a Democratic, I don't know what you want to call it, group,
Yeah.
Democratic Resistance Group.
Mm-hmm.
Co-founded it on Twitter/X. Okay.
I've
This
seen it.
thing, it's right. It's run like an organization, right? We have 5 rooms. We have like 25 to 30 Democrats in each of the rooms. And, they tweet out stuff and you go in the room and you retweet it. We have candidate boosts like on Friday where we focus on the candidate. We also have a graphics team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the graphics team like makes the graphics. We throw ideas out there for them to make, whatever. Long story short. So one of the graphics people, I had an issue with her before
Yeah.
because she makes these graphics. She does too much.
Mm-hmm.
So she was making graphics about abortion and things of that nature. And no abortion bans, no exceptions for rape and incest. So I was like, yo, give me one with a pregnant child because that will hit. I don't see those type of graphics. And we got some real great ones. So then she took it a step further and she put one in the room, and it was like a black girl kind of like crying, cowering. And then like there's a black man behind her, like just looking really mean. And then like I forgot all the writing, but it said something like, I don't know. It was about like the girl got raped by her brother. Like it's too much on a graphic anyway, because you want
Yeah.
the tweeters to find the words and then just add a graphic. You don't want words all over the graphic. That's not what they're for. But anyway, I had a ton of words and something like, Republicans will let some little girl get raped by her brother, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I said to her very nicely, like, you can't really depict this on a graphic, because if you put black people on this goes along with the stereotype.
I
Not
agree.
saying that doesn't happen.
That's the first thing that that popped in my head when you said it.
It happens in the black community, of course it does.
Yeah.
But if you put that on a graphic, when things like that are seen, people say black community. You say the whole of the community. You don't say that it's the one. Okay. So another graphics member did one about taking women backwards. And so he had a white woman on a white man's lap, and he was like going to spank her. But it was like a cartoon, like in the 40s, something like that. She had on a pink dress that all made up, right? And it kind of looked like art, right? Because her leg was pointed back,
Yeah.
he was gonna hit her, right? So she got pissed and she's like, well, why it's okay to have abuse towards white people and not towards black people? And I'm just like, oh my God, no one's going to say the white community does this kind of thing. But if that was a black man, they would say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm getting to the point, I swear.
No.
Right. So now I'm like, okay, I can't even talk to her because she doesn't understand it. Like the co-founder is a white woman. So she deals with this woman who's
Is
a
the
white woman.
graphics person, is she white or black?
She's white.
Okay.
But I can't talk. Like, I just can't. She won't connect it. So she only wanted to talk with the white woman, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm too aggressive, but I'm not. I'm like extra nice to her.
Yeah.
And I don't like that part because now I'm tiptoeing around her about something that's actually offensive to me, right? So like I'm trying to make her feel better about it.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't even deal with her. So the other day, I think it was yesterday, she dropped the graphic in there. She dropped all these graphics in there. And I'm like, oh, black men, they look great. But then it said, happy Malcolm X Day or something like that. And I'm like, Malcolm X. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, the fuck? That's not fucking that doesn't look like Malcolm X. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
I
Do you know how
I
to
go,
do it?
Can I do it on here? Oh shit!
I'm
I
sure
don't
you
think.
can. You
Wait,
probably have the
let me
same.
exit out of the full screen.
Yeah, you almost can. I mean, I'm
Let
almost
me
positive you can.
present, share
Yes.
screen,
Yep. And then put on whatever tab.
share screen,
There should be a tab.
window, entire screen.
Yep.
Or maybe entire screen. Can you see the entire screen?
I can't see. I see you.
Okay, window. What do you see?
I see you. I might. It may not let you
Maybe
do
I
it since you're not.
cannot do it.
But I
Oh,
have you as an administrator, so they should let you do it. I don't.
that sucks because you can't see any. Oh man. So whatever the case is, if you saw, I just wanted you to see the Malcolm X because I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like it didn't. He didn't even have red hair. Malcolm has red hair. He didn't have red hair. Looked like some other man. And like the whole night, I'm like, how am I gonna say anything to her? Because I know she's going to feel a kind of way about it. So I did anyway. Like I talked to my partner. I'm like, do you want to say something? And she's like, no, you say it. You can say it better than I can. Because
Yeah.
it was like several graphics. One graphic, he had on a blue and red tie, almost like flaggish. This is Malcolm X.
Right.
A flag tie and like some type of kente cloth vest under a blue suit. Are you still trying to get me to
No,
shake
I was going to ask you what I mean. Is this somebody that is hired from the outside to help
No,
with the group, or is it
we find them. She left the group. Long story short, she left. But
right?
and we had a conversation. So I said, this does not look like Malcolm X. I'm like, I'm concerned about our members using this graphic.
Yeah.
I said concerned. I was more than concerned because it wasn't going to happen because I would get dragged. The whole group would get dragged. You know what Black Twitter would do with us? Do you know who? It's like, so I told her, she's like, well, it's my artistic view of who he is. He said that he hated his red hair. It's in his book. And she gave me a whole excerpt of the autobiography of Malcolm X.
She was taking liberties with Malcolm X, huh?
So I felt it was an honor
to
not give him red hair. I'm just like, he never dyed his hair. I mean, he probably didn't like his nose, but he didn't get, like who does that? But she left the group and she was accusing me as like, I felt like she was accusing me of being racist because she was like, just because I'm a white woman, you think that I don't know Black history. This is what she said to me. And I'm just like, so my question to you is, why are, and it happens with liberals, right? White
Mhm.
liberals the most.
Yep.
They get to a place where they don't listen. I never said that I know everything about Black history because I don't. I'm still learning. But I do know in general how the Black community moves and how we feel about certain things. In particular, Malcolm motherfucking X.
Right.
It's like, you can't play with certain heroes in our community because, especially one that was murdered, like especially one who was tormented and come on, like she just, what is it about
Uh,
that? Like she just
I
couldn't
well, I'm
understand
gonna
it.
answer your question, Lana.
Yes, please.
I
Thank you.
think I have an answer for you.
Please give it. I'll shut
Okay.
up now. Give me that answer.
Well, you don't need to shut up, but the answer is this. First of all, okay, there you go.
That that
Okay.
that's who she said was Malcolm X.
And you wanted a different depiction. You wanted a different.
That is not even a depiction. That's not
Right.
Malcolm
Right.
X.
Right.
That is not. When did Malcolm X ever have a part in his hair? Not ever. Like not ever.
Okay, so here's the answer, Lana.
Okay.
First of all, whether you're white, you're black, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. People are fucking crazy. That's number one. People are nuts.
It's
Okay,
true.
so now let's dumb it down to this particular person
Yep.
and go on from there. There are certain, like you said, whether you're liberal, far left, whatever it is, white people who feel like they want to take on so much for the black community because they feel like they're doing more of a service by doing it and saying, I will take the lead here. Don't worry about it. And it's like, you're not getting the whole point of this. The whole point of this, for me, then this is just for me. This doesn't have to be, but this is just for me. The point is listening. And if you are going to be part of the, the fight and you're going to be part of doing your part to help, first you have to listen. You have to understand the people that you are fighting with and fighting for. I look at it more as fighting with because
Right.
it is, I'm listening to you and I'm listening to your struggles. I'm listening to what you have gone through. And then I'm going to base it on that. I'm not going to base it on my own because that doesn't make any fucking sense. The same way I'm not going to base it on how a woman feels when she's
Right.
pregnant. The same way I'm not going to base it on how a gay person feels when they're bashed, or a transgender, or a Muslim. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to listen, take it in, and then go, okay, here's how we're going to do our battle now. Here's how we're going to do it because I listened. That's all. And this woman doesn't want to listen.
No. You know, she said she grew up with black people in her house. Like,
well, that's like, I mean, it's like that's stupidity.
Yeah.
Race talk 101 is when you say I had black friends, or it just,
it doesn't give you the experience, right? It's almost like when George Floyd was murdered, right? In the way, and to watch it, that gut thing that you got, which was probably bad, right? You felt horrible.
Well, first of all, not to cut you off, but first of all, I'm seeing the death of another human being just on video, and regardless of who that was, it should just make you sick. But continue.
Right. So, but then what that felt for a human, and then compound that with he's a part of like my community.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, when we say brother, sister, that has a different meaning than when, you say it to your friends or something like that. Like
when I say brother, it's usually my actual brother. When you say brother, it is a communal thing. I think the other thing that maybe that can be compared is in the military when they say brother or something like, but.
Right. And when we say black community, it's not like the neighborhood. The black community is because we share commonalities, which is being enslaved, our ancestors, right? Like we all came through and we all coming up have experienced the same types of
Mhm.
racism, the same things. We hear the same. So we have those experiences. So it's like for her to say, but I live with them. So I know, and I study history. It's like none of this had one. I wasn't even putting a racial lens on it, right? Like saying you're a white lady, you don't know what you're doing. I'm saying that if you're tackling that man, you
Mhm.
got to do it right.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep that
I think there
going. She
people
compared them.
tend to take on, stuff personally.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yes.
if
Yep.
y they feel like they're doing the right thing and they feel like they are, I have, she might be like, and I'm not saying she does, but she might say, I have a black boyfriend. So I am part of the community
Right,
now.
right. I
It,
get it, but
it,
you can't get that thing. Just like I can't get that thing with the LGBTQ
correct.
community. Like I'm not going to feel the same
Yep.
feelings they have if something happens within like the Pulse nightclub.
Right.
Mourn for the death of those people, but
Right.
they're feeling something different in their mourning that I could never feel. Like
Yeah,
so,
well, I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily true because you're a black woman. You can feel it, just not for the same exact reason. You
right.
can feel it in the same ballpark. It's all in the
It's the
same
ballpark, but
ballpark.
it's still different. Like I'm telling you, George Floyd, you mourn for another human. I mourn for my brother, my
Yeah. Yeah,
uncle,
yeah, yeah.
my son. I saw those
Right.
people, right?
Right.
When Trayvon Martin died, I saw my son.
Yep.
So that's a different mourning than another human. He's closer to me than he would ever be to you. And that doesn't diminish what you felt.
That is correct.
I feel it on a totally different level.
Yeah,
She
I don't think people rationalize a lot. I think that's the problem. I think people get irrational and they get defensive and they get, a little sideways on things that, again, if you would just sit back and listen and learn rather than try to take it on and not just not listen, but to try to now be the expert over somebody and something that you have never, ever, and you never will. You'll never experience it. And quite frankly, that's the way I have, for me personally, that's how I feel like I'm going to go through the rest of my life with that. I, I think that works. I think that's not something that, is stepping on any toes, but I'm also at the understanding where I get where Lana comes from. I get where somebody I know that's gay or anybody that where they come from. And if you can start to understand that, then
right.
maybe you can start to understand where people are, making noise about this. They're not making noise about it because they want to throw it in your face like some religious people.
Right.
They're saying it because they're like, these are the struggles that we have to go through. Please just try to understand it. And if you refuse to understand it, that's where we're going to continue to have a problem, probably for the rest of our lives.
Right. And we're just trying to make it better, right? Like, so if you listen, you're like, you really get it and you really get where these people are coming from. Like, you're like, oh, shoot, you're right. Like, yeah. Because you know what would have happened if I put that picture out there? People would have not only dragged, like, if I used that on the tweet,
Yeah.
honoring Malcolm X, they would have been like,
Right.
he doesn't even look like him. And then they would have tagged his daughter. Like,
Right. I mean, to you, that's a reflection on you in something that you're trying to communicate for your community. And it's being
yeah.
communicated by somebody that's not in the community and they're
Right.
arguing, and
And
that makes no
and she's
fucking sense.
arguing, and that's the point. It's
And like
not
I said,
even
people are fucking
yeah,
crazy. That's
yeah.
number one. Overall, most people are nuts. They are just nuts.
Some people are crazy, the other people are nuts. Like, so
I'm not sure where the line is there, but it's
oh.
close.
Do we have a segue? I'm sorry, it took up 20
We do
minutes.
have a segue. You know what the segue is? We
It's,
just talked race, and the
we
name of this
did.
show is Black and Fucking White.
Yeah, it's
And
good to talk race.
please like and subscribe the show. Lana's got a black and white shirt on. I got a black shirt on.
Ah!
Theme of the show. All right. You want to get all right. because that was an important conversation. I'm glad
It
you
was.
brought
I'm
that
glad
up.
we talked about it. It's too bad that she didn't have the conversation with me because maybe she would have learned something.
Yeah, send
There's
me
no
that
right or
girl's.
wrong.
Send me her DM or something. I'll have a chat with her.
Yeah.
I'll represent the white community on this one. Tell her to settle the fuck down. I know how to handle this.